Yeah. 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 Rappers really don't want beef with me. Trust me, I can beat you easily. Suckers get DDT'd. I've been swinging for the fences since I was in Little League. I'm at their neck like a guillotine. Ooh, Lacing Hughes with the verses. Hook something like a ring, no. Baby girl, I ain't got time to chase you. I've been chasing dreams, whoa. I'm going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your verses just like the CD wouldn't play right, yeah. I already know if the beat is bananas, it's only right that I go ape on it, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your verses just like the CD wouldn't, ay, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your verses just like the CD wouldn't play right, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah.
Hello and welcome back into Centex Sports Network. Welcome into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, getting ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. We want to welcome everybody in to the show today, as we've got a lot to cover here today, as high school football week 1 is wrapped up, college football week 1 is wrapped up, and the NFL week 1 is right around the corner. So we got a lot of football to talk here today on Centex Primetime. We want to thank everybody for joining in with us, whether you're watching on YouTube, Centex Sports Network / Centex Sports TV over on YouTube. Make sure you guys go over there, check us out, hit that subscribe button, like and share the stream as well. Also, you can follow us on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Centex Sports TV. You can follow us and find us on there to be able to watch this stream. And as always, make sure you guys go on to our website, CentexSportsNetwork.com, and check out free subscription there. Just need your name and your email. Check out what we have coming up tomorrow. MCC's volleyball. They started off tomorrow, as they'll start their conference play against Weatherford tomorrow. MCC will travel on the road to start off their conference play. So make sure you guys are tuning in for that tomorrow at 6 o'clock, I believe. Of course, you'll be able to catch it on CentexSportsNetwork.com and on the YouTube channel, Centex Sports Network TV. Well, folks, we got a lot to get into and a lot to cover here today, so we're going to jump right into it. Joining me here today on the show, we got the WISD Hall of Famer, former Texas Tech Red Raider, and the former San Diego Charger, Mr. Wayne Walker, in the building with us. Wayne, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Jalen? What's up, Central Texas?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Folks, you seen us on Friday Night Flex last week, as we got a chance to cover a lot of different high school teams here in the area, giving you guys updates on scores. We'll be back again this Friday, same time, to be able to do the same thing, updating you guys on scores, giving you guys some pregame, and we'll have a little bit of film from last week to be able to check in this week and see what can we expect from these teams in week 2. We're going to jump straight into it, folks, on the high school football side of things, where we start today, as we recap a little bit of week 1 around the Central Texas area. Had some really, really great games going on in the Waco area on Friday night, and got a chance to see what some of these teams look like. We've been waiting a couple of weeks to see some of these teams in action. Last weekend, we got a chance to see it, and I'll start it off with the team that we got to watch a lot of last year and that we're expecting a lot of big things of this year, and that is the La Vega Pirates, the state runner-ups in football in the 4A Division II last year. Got off to a great start again this year, as they won the game 41-3 against Kennedale. Coach Hyde and his squad came out ready to go, ready to play this past weekend, and showed it with their play on the field. Quarterback Courtney Parr, 10 for 19 with 153 yards and a touchdown. They got some running game going from a multitude of different guys. Elbert Jones, Walker got in on the action as well. Parr also jumped in on the action. In the receiving game, Daniels got a couple catches. Jamarcus Daniels got a couple catches and a long touchdown in that game as well. A full all-around effort from this La Vega team, what we're used to seeing. Their defense stepped up in a huge way, played great, was able to keep this team out of the end zone for the entire game, playing against a pretty competitive Kennedale team. They got a really good test coming up this weekend, as they'll get a chance to play Salina, which is one of the top teams in the state. We always talk about La Vega and packing their pre-district schedule with some really good teams. But for last week, the 41-3 win over Kennedale. Wayne, what do you think about La Vega starting right back off where they left off last year?
Well, they are who we say they are.
Yeah.
La Vega is year in, year out going to be a tough opponent. To go on the road and win 41-3, your first test out this season, that's big.
Yeah.
You know you can go and take care of business on the road. And it's always led by their defense. La Vega is always led by its defense, a strong rushing attack, just athletes on both sides of the ball. But you can always depend on La Vega to have a premium defense that's going to go out there and get the job done. They're going to stop teams. You can't pass on them. You can't run on them. And then they'll come back at you with the offense. And they had these big play specialists, Parr.
Yeah.
They got Thornton. They got running backs. So, I mean, they are who we say they are.
Yeah, they did the things that we all expected them to do. They played defense and they ran the football. And that's what takes La Vega far into the 3-4 rounds of the playoffs every single year.
Right.
They keep the same philosophy. Coach Hyde is able to keep these guys level-headed. He's able to keep these guys focused and locked in throughout the entire year. Even if they stumble along the way, like I said, they got Salina this weekend. Salina is another powerhouse school that they'll be playing. He doesn't care really about the result in the pre-district. He cares more about the experience, and it seems to work for this team every single year. Last year we watched them go 2-3 in pre-district, and then they go on and win every game all the way into the state game last year. This year, I feel like this team can do the same thing. Parr is back, like you just said. Thornton is back. They got another stable of running backs. Their defense is humming once again. This La Vega team, I think, is not only one of the best teams in Waco, but I think they're one of the best teams in the state. Year in and year out, we see the product that Coach Hyde and these guys put out on the field. Playing in a tough district, though, Wayne. District 12 is no joke whatsoever.
No doubt, but you can expect La Vega to be up there every year.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that expectation, you know. You're going to have to go through them to take that crown. I don't care if it's Robinson. I don't care if it's Lorena. I don't care who it is, Gatesville. You're going to have to go through La Vega to get that crown because they've had it for the last numerous years. China Springs, whoever. I mean, and they're in a tough district.
Yeah.
But you know it's going to be a dogfight week in and week out among these teams. When you get Robinson playing La Vega or China Springs playing Robinson, it's gonna be tough out. I mean, they've been in it for so long, and then you throw in Conley with that. Man, it's probably one of the toughest at their at their rank, one of the toughest districts in the state.
In the entire state. I agree. I say it every year. District 12 is, since they put this district back together a couple of years ago with everybody in it, China Spring, Conley, Robinson, Gatesville, this is going to be one of the toughest districts that we've seen. I mean, almost all the teams we just named all won this past weekend. China Spring won this past weekend. La Vega won this past weekend. All of these guys were able to go out here and get some wins, making some great football as we get into October, late September. It's going to be some really, really good football games. But La Vega starting off the season as they wanted to once again, playing really, really great this weekend. 41-3 win over Kennedale. I want to go to another team in District 12, the China Spring Cougars, as they played a really tough matchup this past weekend, playing the number 2 team in the state in 3A Division I as they played against Franklin at Franklin. China Spring comes out in this game with a victory, 42-28 over the Franklin Lions. This Franklin team is tough. They're a team that's expected to go to state. They've been to state, 4 or 5 years. 4 out of the last 5 years they've been in the state title game. So this team expects to go out there and be winners, regardless, even if they are playing up a division and playing a China Spring team. China Spring thinks the same thing. Yes, they had a down year last year going 2-8, but it looks like this team has retooled with a lot of new young talent. Jackson Knapp, we talked about their new quarterback. He came out there and played well. But one of the biggest surprises, I guess you could say, is the young running back, Krishan Gregory. I mean, this guy dominated the game. I was able to go back after we got off the air on Friday and go back and watch the majority of that game. Krishan Gregory was a game changer for China Spring. Now, they seem to keep putting out these great span of running backs in the last 5 or 6 years. They had Kyle Barton last year. They had a couple of good backs a couple of years before that. Krishan Gregory seems like the next great China Spring running back, in my opinion. 24 carries for 337 yards.
Ooh, he was
3
working, man.
touchdowns. Every
put
time
in
he
work,
touched
man.
the
That's
football,
putting in work.
he was getting out there and getting into the end zone. Also had 1 catch on a screen play that went for 79 yards and a touchdown.
Oh,
so this
man.
dude puts
They
up
put
over
in work.
400 yards of offense by himself.
Total offense over 400 yards.
Yeah, this guy is special. For that reason, I like China Spring going forward this season. I said this will be a filler out kind of to see, okay, we know China Spring is not going to stay down for long. How good do we think they can be? If a guy is playing like that, it's going to be hard for anybody in this district or in the state, for that matter, to be able to stop this China Spring team. What do you think about the Cougars getting back in the win column and picking up a win over Franklin?
Well, we both know they're going to be in the mix. I mean, you can knock these guys down, but they're going to get back up. They're not going to stay down long. And, they had a down year last year. But look what they're doing this year. They come back out, they're fighting. They go to Franklin, I think, beat one of the top teams in a lower division, but one of the top teams. And you go do that on the road with a young team, they're going to be in the mix. So, man, it's already heating up now. The Vega, China Springs, all these guys going out and winning this weekend. They all took care of business. So, I mean, China Springs is going to be one of those teams that's going to be in the mix of it every year.
Yeah, I expect these guys to be right back in the mix. And like you said, this is just making for more good football as we get further into the season. Y'all, it's only week 1, and I'm already excited for district play in this district because we get to see games like this every single night. But there's a lot of good teams in the greater Waco area right now. China Spring is one of those teams, if not, and I expect them to be one of the top teams moving out of this Waco area as we go further and further throughout the playoffs as well. They've got another game coming up this weekend, I believe, as well. So we'll see and check in with China Spring. They'll play Bastrop, who they struggled with last year. Bastrop also 1-0 so far this season. Those two match up as China Spring opens up their home with their first home game of the season, playing against Bastrop on Friday night at 7:30. So we'll be looking forward to that game as well. To the other side of town there in the Midway Panthers as they get a victory over Round Rock Westwood. Big victory for those guys as they come out to start the season off once again, playing at UMHB, playing this Westwood team once again and coming out with the victory over those guys. In this game, Midway used a few different guys in this game as they won 56-19 was the final score in that game. A few different guys got touches. Obviously, we all know Latham Whitesinton, the 4-star running back there. He's got offers from everywhere. He had 7 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Also caught a couple of balls. But just like I said in the China Spring game, one of the young guns getting his first touch on varsity play, Jaden Fields Vaughn, the sophomore running back, 6 carries in this game for 195 yards and 4 touchdowns. Once again, that means every time he touched the ball, Wayne, he was pretty much going to the house.
Big play guy.
Yeah, Midway Panthers coming out with another win. We know they're playing at the highest level out of any of these teams in Waco because they're in 6A. What do you think about Midway and their chances of being competitive this year in 6A?
Man, anytime you come out the gate and you start fast and you get your victory, it's always big. And for a guy to carry about 6 tons for 195, this where heroes are made. Friday night heroes are made.
Absolutely.
Like this, man. And sophomore or not, I mean, he went in, he put in work. So I think they're the head of their district. Mm-hmm. They got to play the Killeen teams.
Yeah, Harker Heights, Temple.
Yeah, and I think they're at the head of that, and they always have been. So to come out and get you a victory, like I say, starting out the gates, that's big for Midway, and I expect them to win that district.
Yeah, Midway is going to be in a super competitive district, as you just named. They're playing Harker Heights is going to have a good team this year. Shoemaker's got a good team this year. Temple has got a good team this year. Midway is right up there with all of those teams we just named. They've got a chance to be able to win this district and to be able to do something as they go further in the playoffs as well. This is Coach Joe Gillespie, his second year. Last year, he was able to get those guys into the playoffs. This year, they're gunning for the same thing. They got a new quarterback in Andrew McNair. He threw for 12 out of 17 completions and 233 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game as well. So they're showing that this offense has got multiple tools they can use. They can beat you through the air. They can run the ball with a 2-headed monster, what seems like to be brewing out there in Midway with Fields, Vaughn, and Washington as well. So I think this Midway team has got a chance to be able to do some good things this year as well. Cedar Ridge is who they'll be playing this weekend. Again, playing on a Thursday. They start the season with 3 Thursdays in a row. That's kind of strange. I haven't seen that. I don't know if y'all had to play multiple Thursdays back-to-back like that in high school.
Not multiple, but I've played some Thursday games when I was in high school. Everything was contingent upon the rain, or if we had a chance of rain, and we was playing at Paul Tyson at the time. So, but that's good. You get to, a lot of times on Friday night football, and you're a teenager, and you play on Fridays, and then you don't come back to school on Monday.
Yeah.
But if you can go out and win on Thursday, and you go back to school on Friday, that's a big thing.
And that's 3 Fridays in a row that they'll get that.
Yeah, exactly.
You might get to be the man inside school for a little bit.
Exactly.
The next day. And check out some of the other games that's going on Friday night as well, too. Most of the time when you're playing, you don't get to see, your homies from the other school get a chance to play. You have to just try to catch this stuff after.
My Friday is free.
Yeah. You get your whole Friday to be able to go out there and make something happen. So Midway, another one of those teams I'm excited, looking out for this year as well, as they'll be playing this Thursday against Cedar Ridge in Round Rock. University, as we go to WISD, fell short this past weekend as they played a really good Keller Central team in this game. University really struggled in this game to be able to really get their offense going. They didn't have much time in the passing game. They weren't able to be super effective in the running game. Darius Thomas rushed for 93 yards on 18 carries for a couple of touchdowns, but wasn't enough to withstand the offensive power from Keller Central, really, as they came out there in this game. Keller Central wins this game 43-17 versus University. We talked about this a little bit on Friday Night Flex, where, you get to see all the press clippings, preseasons, and people have you ranked. A lot of your teammates are starting to be ranked, and stars are starting to pop up next to guys' names. Sometimes it's hard to kind of cancel all of that noise out and get locked in and get focused for a game. Do you think maybe that's what happened to University going up to Keller Central to play this last weekend?
Well, yeah, they read the paper too. We have the internet now.
Yeah.
So when you see all these guys as 4 stars and committing here and committing there, they shooting after you. They shooting after you. They want to prove a point that we're just as good. We can beat these guys with these guys. So I don't care what type of press clippings you get or what comes, or what they say or what they say about this or that, but you still have to go out and play the game. And, they tell me the cream always rises to the top. Luckily for University, this is a non-district game, so, you really concentrating on district, but now you have to refocus and go get yourself back together. And you got to go play the game. You got to all these expectations everybody have for you, you have to have them as a team. So you have to have those team expectations within that locker room, and this is something that they're going to have to fix, not the coaching staff, because they got the players, and I know that the coaches are putting them in the right position to make plays, but the players got to go out and make them. Yeah. You got to go out and do your job.
Yeah, players got to that's what it comes down to. The coaches can only put you in so many scenarios to be able to go out there and win. After that, it's on the players to be able to go out there and execute. That's the biggest part, is execution. And it's week 1. I don't want to go in and be overreactive like we're seeing. We're going to talk some college football later, but we've seen a lot of overreacting in college football with different teams, different players. I don't want to be the overreacting
and like
saying,
you said, Jalen, this is non-district.
Yeah, non-district week 1.
So you preparing to get better, and what you want to do is ultimately win your district, but these little tests in between, you got to go out and compete.
Absolutely.
You have to go out and compete, and you have to go out and dominate people. So maybe it'll be a wake-up call for the Trojans, and let's see what they do this week.
Yeah, this could be the wake-up call that they needed as they go out there. And, they didn't get a chance to let a lot of their stars shine on the offense end of the ball. London Smith, 5 catches, but only for 34 yards in that game. But like you said, these guys, you coming in with a target on your back. Yeah. Keller Central might not have. I think they had one guy that was a 3-star who was putting up some monster stats in that game at receiver. But outside of that, they don't have a lot of highly touted guys. They see 4-star on the other side. They got a target on him.
And then the coach is preaching that. You got a 4-star. He going to catch 4 touchdowns on you. He going to throw this. He going to do this. He going to do that, man. Guys take that to heart, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, you put on your shoes and socks just like they do, you know. So, man, hey, they going to have to – when you have that mark on you, you just have to go out and you have to take care of business. I don't care who it is, and I don't care who we playing. You got to go. I don't care if it's 5A against 1A or a 6-man team. I'm going out and handling business. I'm not finna play around. That's the kind of attitude you have to have when you are the man, or you are a 4-star or 5-star, because everybody's looking at you to do your job. So you got to go out and you have to take care of business. You have to go out and dominate. I don't care who you are. I'm running by you.
Yeah.
I'm running by you. I'm beating you. I'm going to dominate you. And that's the attitude you have to have when you trying to live up to those expectations. And university, like I said, they'll get it right this week. I know it's a lot of sad faces and a lot of people wasn't expecting this, because I was expecting them to win this game.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And when you don't go out and you're going to take care of business, you have to come out and do it this week. So it'll be a seriousness in practice this week. It kind of something that kind of bring you back down to earth and make you focus a little bit. So I think University will be ready this week. Who they got this week?
This week they got Granbury, who just beat Waco High this past weekend. So they got they got a good chance to go back out there and get in the win column against the Granbury team that honestly played really good against Waco High this past weekend. So they'll be feeling themselves coming in this game saying, hey, we just beat a Waco ISD team. We can line up another one. Okay. So they're thinking they can come out and line up another one. They'll play this weekend at 7 o'clock on Friday when those guys will kick off this one at Granbury. They get 3 games on the road, kind of 2.5, I guess you could say, as the third game is against China Spring. So it's at China Spring this year. They'll be in the Waco area, but it's not at home, playing on your home field. So they got a tough season of starting off the season on the road. They played last week at Keller Central. This week they'll be at Granbury. The next week they'll be at China Springs. So we'll learn a lot about this university team early to start off and see kind of what these guys are made of. They're going to get some tests to come out. They don't have the luxury of kind of walking in to an easy schedule like we see some other teams be able to do. They come right out and get after it. So they'll play this weekend at 7 o'clock against Granbury. The Conley Cadets get a win over Academy in what was a back-and-forth battle in that game throughout the entire game between these two teams. We saw the Conley Cadets, they came right out from the jump, put the ball in the hands of some of their playmakers, as they got a win 33-29 over Little River Academy, which was a back-and-forth game between these two teams. In that game, like I said, they came right out aggressive, throwing the ball. As we heard on Friday Night Flex, we had one of the guys call in and let us know what's going on over there in the game. He said, man, these guys are throwing the ball. The first 2 touchdowns were throwing touchdowns, I believe, in that game. So it was a really good outing for the Cadets. Like I said, they got tested. It was back and forth. At one point, Little River Academy was leading in the fourth quarter. So the Conley had to pull this one together and come out and get a win. Kaufman, their new quarterback, I don't want to say new player because he's been on the team, and if you follow Conley football, it's a lot of these Kaufmans that play for the Cadets. I guess this must be one of the younger brothers playing quarterback. Threw for 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. His main thing was just getting the ball to his playmakers. Jamarian Vincent, 5 catches for 125 yards. I believe his first catch was a touchdown to the house. 2 touchdowns, I believe, in that game as well. And then Linville goes out there and gets what was a crazy catch. You haven't seen the highlight. I think they have it up on their Twitter. Gets a crazy catch over on the sideline, takes it up the field for 85 yards, and scores the touchdown as well. Braden Ford, another one of those guys we brought up on Friday Night Flex, 15 carries for 172 yards. Another bell cow back for the Conley Cadets. We've seen this in back-to-back years, what it seems like, going from Sunday to Wisner to Sibley. Now we see Braden Ford picking up where those guys left off. Had a good year last year. First game this year goes for $172 in the win over Little River Academy. What do we think about the Cadets, Wayne? They got talent once again every single year. I mean, they got some more talent than what it looks like once again out there on the field.
Well, you always expect Conley going to have some pass catches. They're going to have some defensive backs. The skill positions, they're going to have athletes on the field. And they came out doing something outside the norm. And he came out and they passed the ball.
Yeah, they did.
So, with good running backs and good receivers and a balanced attack on offense, man, they can be as potent as. As just as La Vega is. But you know it's gonna come down to that. Yeah, like we've been saying, our show is the best district in probably the state in that class
for sure.
And so, man, look for. I don't know who they play this week, but
Lago Vista is who they'll be
Vista?
playing. Both of those guys are 1-0 right now. They'll play Lago Vista at 7:30 on Friday.
I look for some big things out of Conley.
Yeah, me too.
I know some people that I've been talking to and some people that live out in that area, man, and they expecting big things from this Conley team. So we'll see. And I had somebody come to me and saying, hey, they right on the same type of level with La Vega. So,
yeah.
You can say all that you want to, but we got to still see. But
they got to go out there
look
and
like
play
they
the
started
games.
it off real well. So
Yes, they did.
We'll see.
They did. The 4-star in Jamaria Vincent, Baylor commit. Like I said, he had his 5 catches for $125 and 2 touchdowns. Also 7 tackles, a sack, and a fumble return for a touchdown on defense as well. So, he was all over the place. These guys, as Wayne just said, that every year you can expect them to have skill players, elite skill players at multiple different positions. Looks like we got another year of that. Another game in District 12 that's going to be big. Another team in District 12, that's going to be huge and is going to play some really good football, I think, deep into the year. This one is one of my favorite teams in this district, and that is the Robinson Rockets, as they get a win over West this past weekend. I believe 34-7 was the final score in that game, as they get a win over what was a really good 35-7 over what was a really good West team as well. West is a team that's expected to do some good things out of this greater Waco area as well. But Robinson came right out, man, and they handled business. These guys were not playing around. They got 2 players that are 2 of my favorites to watch in this area, and that's Bryce McCurdy and Evan Marino. Bryce McCurdy, a guy that's been getting a lot of attention over the summer, picking up offers from all types of schools. Texas Tech has come out and offered him. U of H, North Texas, SMU, Ole Miss, TCU. This guy's getting offers from, starting to get looks from everywhere going into his junior year. And the big question was, okay, what is his play going to look like going into this junior year now after his sophomore kind of being a surprise? Comes out, starts off great. Once again, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game. Also rushed for 40 yards. But the main staple of this offense, once again, is Evan Marino. 23 carries, 224 yards, and a touchdown in this game. Picking up right where he left off. This guy was leading rusher in Central Texas last year. He's picking right back up where he left off. 224 yards. So he's going to lead all rushers once again to start off week 1 in Central Texas because of that 2-headed monster with those 2 guys in Robinson as well. And also in their receiving game, Medlock that came in this year, 5 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. He's a good player as well, too. Their highlights are up on YouTube of that game against West. He made a lot of big plays. Once again, Wayne, what do you think about this Robinson team, man? We're talking about everybody in District 12. Robinson, I think, is one of those sleepers in this district for sure.
No doubt. Just think how they ended up last year. They had a good team last year, and they were hot at the end of the year. So they just taking off from where they left off last year. So I can say, man, these guys compete against each other year in and year out. They know who is who and what is what. So it's going to be a dogfight. And I seen that they were ranked like 16th in the state right now in the division. So it's a lot of people thinking highly of Robinson. But, man, you never know what to expect in that district. Man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a dogfight week in and week out, I'm telling you.
Yeah, every single week with these guys, it's going to be another fight. They're playing a pretty good Caldwell team this weekend at 7:30. But Robinson is another team you just throw right in that mix with La Vega, with China Spring, with Gatesville, who won last week as well. That entire district is really, really tough, and it's going to be some exciting football as we get later into the year. But they might have one of the most explosive backfields in this entire district, really in this greater Waco area when you talk about Bryce McCurdy and Evan Marino as well. Seeing those 2 on Friday nights is special, and I expect it to keep being special throughout the rest of this year as well.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like 4 of those teams are going to go into district play like maybe 3-0, 4-0, or 3-1 or something like
Yeah.
that, man, which is gonna make it tough. You know what I mean? Like, but when it gets to district play, I'm just thinking that they all gonna come in with those same type of similar records, 3-1, 4-0, and stuff like that. And man, you just never know what to expect in that district.
Yeah, in that district, any of those guys could come out and be the champs. You really could just pick of the litter at that point to see who you want to be able to come out of that district. But Robinson, another one of those teams, man, like I said, could be one of my sleeper teams for this year going forward in this Waco area. Before we get off high school football, I want to give out some of my top performers for the week, and then I'll do my very top performer for the week. But some guys I have to mention in there for top performers of the week. First off, I have to do the entire Lorena offense. They came out and had a really good game this past weekend as Lorena got a win over what was a ranked team, one of the top-ranked teams, took a loss, against one of the top-ranked teams in TAPS. They played Austin Regents. It was a shootout. 55-48 was the final score in that one. Lorena came out short, but their offense, if they play good like this throughout the rest of the year, I don't think they'll have a losing record. I think Lorena will be one of the top teams in their district. But their entire offense, Brody DeLeon, their running back, 27 carries for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jackson Blanket went out there 310 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, also rushed for 90 yards and a touchdown. And their receiver, Carson Miller, 10 receptions for 188 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I got to give one passes to the entire Lorena offense. They balled out this past weekend. All played really, really good. The next one is a play caller for McGregor, Bubba Zacharias, the quarterback of McGregor, 19 for 32, 415 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also ran the ball for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns as well, giving him 5 total touchdowns in the game. He balled out as McGregor came out with the win this past weekend as well. Jaden Fields-Vaughns, we just talked about him, talking about Midway, and went for 6 carries, 195 yards, 4 touchdowns in that game in their win. And one of the last ones I have is Kobe Haynes out of Whitney. We talked about this Whitney team a little bit on Friday night. Explosive offense. This Whitney team, they got a 3-headed monster with Kobe Haynes out there, receiver, and they got a good quarterback and a good running back as well in the backfield with Johnson. But Kobe Haynes, 8 catches for 208 yards and 3 touchdowns this weekend as Whitney got a win over a tough Mart team. That was a really good matchup to start the season off. Mart and Whitney, 2 powerhouse programs in the Central Texas area. Whitney came out with a win, a lot of it due to Kobe Haynes playing the way that he did. But my top guy of the week, we already mentioned him a little bit earlier. Krishan Gregory definitely wins my player of the week, man. You go out there and go for 400 total yards of offense by yourself and 4 touchdowns to start the season off against a team that's expected to win state. It's not like he was playing against a team that's going to go 2-8 this year, 1-9. You're playing against the Franklin Lions, a team that's expected to go to state.
It'll be
and
playing in November.
Yeah, they're playing in November. Every year they're playing in November, too, at that. Krishan Gregory gets my hat for player of the week this week with the outstanding performance he put on this weekend. And I'm expecting another good performance out of him this weekend as China Spring will have another tough game. They play a lot of guys early. They play Franklin this past weekend. Next weekend they play University. So this China Spring team,
they're gonna be ready.
They'll be ready. By the time
they're
district
gonna be
comes,
district ready.
they will be ready to go. But Krishan Gregory is definitely my top player of the week. Folks, like I said, it was not only week 1 in football for high school, but on the college ranks as well. And I want to be able to talk about some college football as week 1, I said was going to be a great weekend of football, and it definitely lived up to the hype. To start the week off, I got to go over and talk about a couple of the games that we watched up here at the studio. First off, starting with the Baylor Bears, man, as they fall short playing against an Auburn team. An Auburn team that's honestly, I think is going to have a good shot at winning some games in the SEC this year. I don't have them as one of my top 3 teams, but as we start to get into that 4-5 range, I think Auburn has a chance with this team to be able to do it if they keep their offense going consistently. Last week, Baylor fell short to those guys in that game. The offense played really good. Offense played good in this game. Jackson Arnold putting up, Sawyer Robinson putting up 400 yards of offense in this game to go out there and play, but their defense was not able to match the same level of intensity on the other side as they just couldn't stop the run against Auburn. I mean, that was their main thing was, can they stop the run against Auburn? Wayne, you talked about it before we even started the show. or before we even started the game, that it's going to take them stopping the run against Auburn. That's something we did not see this team be able to go out there and do. Jackson Arnold in this game rushes for 188 yards from the quarterback position. That's really what took them out, even when it came down 137 yards. Even when it came down to the last plays in the game and Baylor was trying to get a last-minute stop, we see Jackson Arnold break off another 40-yard run into the end zone. A lot of that, I feel like, was due to containment issues for Baylor. I think their defense played a decent job of containing Jackson Arnold. They really, really did a great job against their star receivers and Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton, holding those guys to just a catch each. But they weren't able to keep contained, stay disciplined in the run gaps against the run. For that reason, they lost this game 38-24, despite Sawyer Robinson throwing for 419 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. Wayne, what do you think as we've watched Baylor fall short to this Auburn team?
I mean, I discussed it here that Friday. They got out physical on the offensive. I mean, the defensive line couldn't hold up. I mean, and it was basic zone read, and where he decides if he wants to keep the ball or he wants to hand it off. And that's what Auburn was doing all night, but they out physical Baylor on the offensive line. So they controlled the line of scrimmage. And so we know Baylor going to be able to throw the ball, but Baylor wasn't able to run the ball. They were able to run the ball. They weren't able to pass the ball, but they controlled the line of scrimmage. So that always gives you an advantage when you're playing football if you can control the line of scrimmage and you can run the ball. And that's what they were able to do. Passing, so many things can happen when passing. You can get a sack. It can be an incomplete pass. It can be an interception. But when you're running the ball and you're running the ball efficiently and you're handing that ball off, that is a big advantage for you.
Yeah.
And that's what Auburn did. I on both sides of the ball, basically, because they stopped Baylor from running the ball. Baylor was able to pass the ball, but they weren't able to run the ball. And you can throw for 400 yards, but you have to work the ball down the field. But when you are running the ball and you're getting first downs and you're controlling the line of scrimmage, you can kind of do what you want to do with it. And that's what happened with that game. I mean, and I thought it would be a lot better because David Randy is a defensive –
Yeah.
He comes from a defense philosophy. He's a defense coordinator once before he was hired at Baylor. But they weren't able to stop the run, and that was their demise.
Yeah, them not being able to stop the run, and especially the quarterback run, I feel like that's what killed them the most. Even their running backs got up. Damari Alston, 16 carries for 85 yards. Jeremiah Cobb, 16 carries for 75 yards. And then you top that off with Jackson Arnold, 16 carries for 137 yards.
Yeah.
You can't win a football game if somebody rushes for 300 yards.
That's over 40 carries for over 300 yards, you know.
It's tough to win a football game giving up 300 yards on the ground.
Control the line of scrimmage, and basically this weekend, that's what happened with a lot of these games. I mean, in the trenches is where it was won at in a lot of these games, and Baylor is a big example of that.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of it was just gap integrity, rush integrity, guys being able to stay disciplined as far as where is your rushing lane at, not letting a guy, not breaking contain. That's where a lot of these yards came from. It's not like their offense wasn't able to scheme up a lot against Baylor. It was, like you said, a lot of zone running where they get to make a decision at the line of scrimmage, make a decision. Jackson Arnold gets to make a decision with the ball. And a lot of it, the other rest of it was just breaking contain. Getting outside, guys not having, rush integrity, gap integrity, and staying in their lanes and staying in the gaps they're supposed to fill. And that led for Jackson Arnold rushing for $137.
That's hard when somebody pushing you out
the
lane.
It is.
Too. So,
it is.
I mean, it ain't just they running out the lane. It's somebody pushing them out the lane because they have to block it. And then you see the same play coming at you over and over again, and you don't know if he's going to hand it or he's going to keep it. I mean, they were balanced as far as him running the ball, getting it to the other running back, and him taking off with it. So if he hands it off, he was right. If he kept it, he was right.
Yeah.
So I mean, they had a lot of options when it came to running the ball.
Yeah.
So that was their biggest advantage, and I knew that coming in. I said if Baylor can stop the run, because that's how Auburn wants to do. Southeastern Conference is a team that's physical, and everybody wants to run the ball. We've seen it in the Alabama game. You've seen it in the Ole Miss game. Everybody wants to run the ball, and that's what they were able to do. And if you allow them to do it, it's gonna be a long game for you, man.
And it seemed like Baylor was chasing them the rest of the game. They had an opportunity to go up 10-0. They went for it on 4th down in the red zone, didn't convert it. From that point on, that really switched all the momentum, and Auburn took off from that point. Instead of it being 10-0, it ended up being 14-3 going Auburn's way. Yeah. So it really changed the game around like that. But as you said, you can't stop the run. It's going to be a long night. This weekend, they got SMU coming in. SMU, they look like a track team again. They played Texas A&M Commerce this past weekend, or East Texas A&M is what they're called now, this past weekend. SMU looks like they got another track team. They go and get another stable of fast guys out there. This offense is going to be moving fast. They got kick returners everywhere at the skill position. Those guys are going to be fine. This Baylor team not going to face a formidable rush, but they are going to face what I think is honestly the weaker part of their defense, and they're going to face a good quarterback with good receivers. I think their DB room is kind of the weaker part of their defense there. Their front seven was supposed to be the strong point, but Auburn kind of had some different things to say about that. This week, a completely different type of test, getting tested in the air, and with another running quarterback and Kevin Jennings, who's going to be moving a lot faster than Jackson Arnold was moving when he rushed for those 137 yards. What do you think Baylor's got to do to come out with a win against SMU, early 11 o'clock game on Saturday they play in Dallas?
They definitely had to contain the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a guy that's athletic, that can move, that can run the ball, that can sling it, and then you got guys running down the field wide open. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to put some pressure on him.
Yeah.
You don't have to put some pressure on him. And I think in this game, whoever can win, because both of them got high octane offenses. Mm-hmm. But whoever can go out and get stops is going to be that team that's going to win this game.
Yeah.
So you have to go out and get some stops. SMU, man, like you said, they got a track team. I mean, they can score on you in a second. Baylor, they can score on you in a second. They have a great quarterback. He's not as mobile and nimble as what they have at SMU.
Yeah, for sure.
But he can still sling it. I mean, and he got good skill positions around him, got good guys that can go down the field around him. So we'll see, man. It's going to be tough. But whoever can go out and get 2 or 3 stops on defense is going to be the team that can win. And then I think in this game, too, I think when you talk about the 3 phases of the game, you talk about offense, you talk about defense and special teams. Whoever can win that special teams battle can get some field goals out of this, can flip the field as far as punting, or get you a good big punt return that or kickoff. I think that's the team that's going to win it.
Yeah, it's going to come down to who can get that last stop, who can get the most stops is going to win this game, because this is going to be a fast-paced game. The over-under on this game is already opening up at 65.5 points. Yeah. So, I mean, they expect these teams to score the ball.
Yeah, I'm sure both of these teams will score over 30.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be one of those type of ball games because they got so much offensive firepower on both sides of the ball. Like I said, his special teams is going to be big, and whoever – I mean, a stop or 2 – if anybody can go out and get 2 or 3 stops a quarter, like if you get 2 stops in the first quarter and make this, that's going to be huge.
Huge.
It's going to be huge.
Especially
because your offense can go down and they can take advantage of that and they can score. So whoever both offenses I feel are going to be efficient, but and I don't think everybody's going to score every time they get the ball. But it's the team that's going to turn that ball that has less turnovers, or that the defense can go out and get stops. I think that's going to be the team that's going to win it.
This Baylor team opens up a 3-point underdog against the SMU Mustangs. Shootout to expect. If I had any play on that game, it would be take the over on the points. Because these guys over on the points, over on yards. These guys are going to air the football out, man, and it's going to be a show at 11 o'clock on Saturday. It looks like on the CWs where they'll be playing against each other. So that should be a good one for 11 o'clock to start the weekend off. The other game that was on Friday, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets versus the Colorado Buffaloes. Wayne, another game that you picked right. Me and Rocky were both leaning the Colorado way. You said, nah, I'm going to go ahead and go with Georgia Tech in this game because they'll be able to run the ball. Well, Georgia Tech comes out, gets to win 27-20 over the Colorado Buffaloes. And in this game, Georgia Tech rushes for 320 yards in this game. Haynes King also threw for 143 yards and a pick in this one. Georgia Tech starts off the first quarter with three turnovers. In that first quarter with 3 turnovers, the Colorado Buffaloes were only able to turn that in to 7 points. And from there on, we knew that was going to be the downfall of this team. Weren't able to get their offense going. They scored on their first drive with Caden Salters throwing a touchdown. But from there, this offense was never able to get in rhythm. They ran the ball well with guys like Michael Welch. He ran for 11 carries for 64 yards in this game. Caden Salters also chipped in with 43 yards in this game, but just weren't able to stop the run. And Caden Salters struggled to convert in big moments. He played a decent game overall, but there was multiple third downs where he was not able to find the guys. I think back to that red zone play on third down where he overthrows his running back about 2 to 3 yards over the guy's head, and he was wide open to be able to walk into the end zone. Little plays like that ended up changing this game. Salters not being able to be on par with his receivers the entire time. Now, Coach Prime did come out and say this weekend we're going to see some of Juju Lewis at quarterback, but they're playing Delaware this weekend. I think he means we're going to see him play because they're going to be blowing Delaware out. People started to misconstrue it and say, oh, he's going to bench Salters already. He's not going to bench Salters. Salters still going to be the starter for the foreseeable future going forward. And, of course, they'll be able to rebound versus Delaware this weekend. But this past weekend, showing when they play comparable competition in Georgia Tech, not able to stop the run once again for Coach Prime and the Buffaloes. Seems like a reoccurring theme from last year. We watched it when they played Kansas, when they played a couple other teams, not being able to stop the run. What do you think about the Buffaloes' performance against the Yellow Jackets, losing 27-20?
It was subpar. I mean, you win a game that you're supposed to win at home. And like you said, one of the big things was the opponent turned the ball over on your end of on their end of the field 3 times, and you're not able to capitalize. You have to capitalize on other teams' mistakes.
Yeah.
You have to make them pay for them. And they only got 7 points when it could have been up to 21. So that was big, and then you only lose by 7 points. So that was big. And another thing is until you take care of your trenches, your defensive line, and you figure that part of your team out, you're not going to beat anybody.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat anybody because you can't stop the run. For a team to come out and rush for over 300 yards on you, that's just rubbing it in your face.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, this is what we're going to do. We're going to step on you. And for Georgia Tech, you knew what they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to come out and you got to play 8-man fronts. You got to make them pass the ball. You got to make them one-dimensional, and you wasn't able to do that. And even when they did play 8-man fronts, Georgia Tech still ran the ball.
Still.
You know what they going to do, and you still can't stop them. That's like a man telling he gonna slap you and he can slap you. You know? So, I mean, I just knew that you can't address those issues if you don't go out and address it in the transfer portal. You're not gonna be able to do it on the high school level and high school recruiting because now with the transfer portal going on, you have to have some guys that have experience. Mm-hmm. The elite guys can come in and play on the college level, and you're going to have some guys that can do that. But, man, now you can go get you a guy that's got 2 or 3 years experience, and you just go around the nation and you can go find those guys. And if you don't address those issues, they hadn't addressed those issues. And so they're going to continue to struggle. So it's going to be a long year for Colorado. And on the other end, on the offensive end, I think Salters will be okay. Mm-hmm. He's not accurate as he should be.
Yeah.
But you kind of seen the same thing that you seen with Shadua a little bit last year. But one thing about Shadua had better skill position on that side. He had Horn.
All those guys in the league.
He had some guys. He had some dogs over there.
Yeah.
So he had some guys that go up and battle for the ball. But they have to get better. And if they don't learn how to stop the run, like I always say that it's a copycat league, everybody's going to do the same thing on you. It's going to be the same old recipe over and over and over again. So that's what you're going to get until you're able to do it, until you're able to stop them.
Yeah, if you can't, and like you said, in this league, it's copycat. Everybody's going to want to do the exact same thing. No one's going to watch the film from last year because film from last year doesn't matter, especially in this transfer portal era, which is completely new team almost every single year. They see we can run the ball on these guys again. Expect teams to come out and run the ball on them. Of course, I expect Colorado to be able to win this weekend as they play against Delaware. But rebounding from there, man, Kansas State's going to run the football. Arizona State's going to run the football at you. Kansas is going to run the all these teams that Baylor struggled with last year, they're going to run the football on you when they see, oh, man, these guys can't stop the run again. So it's up to those guys to be able to fix it. I think Warren Sapp is one of the better position coaches coaching in college football, but that's the one thing they haven't been able to figure out. Some of it is due to personnel. Some of it could be because of scheme. Whatever reason it is, you've got to be able to figure out how to stop. That's an essential thing to be able to figure out how to stop.
Warren Sapp was a great player, but at the same time, a great player, and he knew how to stop the run. I mean, better than anybody.
Yeah.
But he can't go out there and play for his guys, man. And I know he wish he could. But
I bet.
I mean, but they have to get better in that area. They just have to get better in that area. And until they can get better in that area, it's going to be, I mean, like you say, you got some teams like Iowa State that runs the ball. You have teams like Kansas State that runs the ball. And then you have teams like Baylor that's capable of running the ball. But then when you do try to stop a team, if a team like Baylor is able to run the ball on you and they got superior skill set on the outsides, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Because they have a two-headed monster. They'll be able to run the ball and pass the ball. So it's going to be tough if you don't. But you have to have a strength in there. You have to be somewhat able to stop the ball. You have to somewhat be able to stop the ball from people from rushing the ball on you, because if you can't stop the rush, you
out of there. I don't care what level of football you're playing on.
I mean, we talk about that with the Cowboys as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Their season went down because of that.
Because you can't stop the run. Yeah,
and that's even with Micah Parsons.
Yeah, with or without him. If you can't stop that run, high school, Pop Warner, whichever level you're on, it's going to be a long day for you. And that's what it looked like from the Colorado Buffaloes. As I said, they'll be able to rebound this weekend playing against Delaware, but they get right back to it after that to jump into a tougher schedule. So we'll see how the Buffs respond and what they're going to do. They play on TV again this weekend playing against Delaware, so we'll see them kind of rebound.
They play on TV every week.
Yeah, every week. You know they play on TV every week if they on TV when they play Delaware.
Show, man.
They gonna be on. You gonna be on it every single week, but we'll be checking in with them. To the game that everyone wanted to see the most. Texas versus Ohio State, playing at the Shoe. Wayne, once again, you called out Ohio State from the beginning, saying them playing at home would probably give them that little bit of advantage. And I think you were right. It was a close game, a defensive battle in this game. 7-14 was the final score in this one. But the overwhelming thing that everyone wants to talk about is Arch Manning. Arch Manning, 17 for 30 in this game, 170 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Did not play very well. On the other side, Julian Sayin, the freshman, 13 for 20, 126 yards and a touchdown in that game. Didn't play a great game, but played conservative enough to not turn the football over and made the throws when he needed to make the throws. The lob pass to Carnell Tate in the end zone, he gave his guy a chance to put the ball in there for him, a way to go up and win the ball. So Ohio State able to do what they need to do to come out with a win. Both teams look pretty even, but Julian saying not turning the ball over and Arch Manning honestly missing on throws looked like it was the main point that we got out of this. Now, people have gone out as far to say this game doesn't matter. It's Ohio State, so if he struggles, it doesn't matter. And people have gone on the other end and saying this guy's trash. When is the backup going to come in? All type of stuff. I like to find somewhere in the middle to find there. I think there were moments in there that Arch made some good plays within there, but when you start the game off, first play of the game is when I knew, okay, nerves are a real thing. That's going to get to them in this game. The crowd is going to be a factor. They come out first play. Sarkisian draws it right up. DeAndre Moore is wide open, probably 5 yards of separation off a guy, and Arch Manning throws the ball straight into the dirt. From that point, I said, okay, he's going to have to play his way in the rhythm in this. It's not just going to come out and be a right-away thing as a lot of people thought was going to happen with Arch Manning. The Longhorns lose. As I said on Friday, this game is almost going to be like the loss doesn't count that much for whoever loses, and whoever wins is going to count for two. Mm-hmm. So Ohio State almost gets 2 victories in this one, and Texas gets a loss that eventually will be wiped out of their record almost by the time they get to the end of the season. What do you think about Ohio State getting the win over the Longhorns this past weekend?
Oh man, like I said, that playing at home is big. When you play at a top tier university, probably one of the biggest ones in all NCAA. You talking about Ohio State, Michigan, Texas. If you go in those venues and you play, man, it's going to be a rambunctious crowd.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. You go to the Horseshoe, you play. Sark didn't give him anything to work with. I mean, you got to have a better game plan than that. You're supposed to be an offensive genius. And it just didn't work. Mm-hmm. But on the other end, they let their quarterback, Sands, they let him be a game manager. They put him in positions to be successful. You have to put your quarterback in a position to be successful. So you have to take the little thing. You have to take the little dinks and ducks and let this guy get comfortable. I don't think Arch Manning was ever comfortable.
No.
And a lot of that was because Ohio State didn't make him feel comfortable. Matt Patricia did a great job.
Man, a great job.
I mean, he played a lot of zone on him. He played a lot of zone and made it look like man, and then turned it into zone, and then he made zone turn it into man. Mm-hmm. Didn't blitz him number about 4 times. But when you're able to put pressure on him with 4 guys up front, and then you're able to drop 7 guys, then you're gonna be successful. And when you're an offense coordinator like Sarkisian, you have to be prepared for those things. You have to be able to make adjustments and adjust to those things, because it was some things there. Arch didn't hit him, but it was some things there, and there's some things that he could have did better as offense coordinator. Texas defense played well. They weren't at fault. I think the Texas offense was in the red zone maybe 3 or 4 times and came out with only like 7 points. Mm-hmm. So I think they got to do something better. I think Zork has to put him in positions to be successful. And this is this guy's first year commanding the offense.
Yeah.
He started some games, but he wasn't the commander of the offense. So now he's the commander of the offense. So now you're going to have to believe in him, in which I think he'll get better. He'll get better, and he'll learn from this game. And so we'll see what's going to happen. But I think offensively they got some things they need to work on.
Yeah, they definitely got some things they got to work on. And Sark, it's a back and forth with me sometimes with Sark, because he is, I feel like, one of the better play designers in college football. But when you get into those 3rd and 4th quarters and you just need to play, sometimes I feel like these long developing plays and the screens and stuff. Sometimes you got to just play simple football, especially when your quarterback is struggling. Let's get him some quick, easy passes. What are some of those things you would like to see from your quarterback whenever your offense is struggling? You're out there and you're like, hey, we just need to get in the rhythm. I feel like those got to be some of the go-tos, especially in a game like that when you're playing on the road and a young QB.
Well, I don't know what you can really – but this is the thing. Mm-hmm. You have to have something in your bag for every type of defense that's played. Mm-hmm. When you're offense coordinator and you do this and you're making $6-7 million a year, you have to have something in your bag, to counter what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so those adjustments should be easy, because all you have to do is say, hey, well, I've seen this before. I prepared for this, and I figured that they would do this, so now this is what I'm going to do to counter that. You have to be able to counter. That's what football is. It's a match. It's a match. It's like a chess game. You take a move, and I'm going to make a move. And so I'm going to counter your move. But that's what you have to do. That's just like war. That's just, I mean, it's a battle. It's a battle. So he has to know how to counter. He had to know how to make adjustments, and he had to know how to put his quarterback in a position to be successful and take advantage of some of the things that Matt Patricia was doing, because you have something that'll work against everything, Yeah. But I think some quick screens, some like little bubble screens, some little some screens up the middle to the running back, because all they were doing was just flaring out. And then they had a spy on Arch Manning, with a zone look. And so they did not take advantage of any of those things, and that's why they lost.
Yeah, Matt Patricia, I think had the best game out of anybody in this. What he was doing, coaching the defense up. His first year at Ohio State, man, that defense looked good. Even though they lost a lot of guys from last year's team, like you said though, sometimes the offense just got to be simple and get you guys some quick stuff going when your offense is struggling. Had a lot of long developing plays, and by the end of the game, I feel like it was just kind of the race against the clock. Them trying to get something in. They didn't score until the fourth quarter of the game. So overall, I think Arch is going to be fine. He played against Ohio State. It's not like he opened up the season
no doubt.
against UT Martin and struggled. Like he came out and played against the champs.
champs.
Yeah, he played the champs in his first game, and they lost by a touchdown.
But it is like I said, Sark, he has to do some things. If I seen him running crossing routes against zone coverage, I mean, we don't do that. We run crossing routes against man coverage. But he made it look like it was going to be man, and then it ended up zone, and then you throwing the ball into zone coverage, and you got guys crossing the field. And when that happens, guys got to sit down in holes or whatever. But you have to have zone routes for zone defense.
Yeah.
And you have to have man routes for man defense. And they were mixed up all night in that regard, and he's going to have to do some better things offensively to give his kid some type of things to be successful with.
Yeah, I expect Texas to be able to rebound from here. Sark is going to learn from this game. Archman is going to learn from this game. I mean, he's got some pretty knowledgeable guys he could text and probably ask about some film breakdown, texting both of his uncles to see if it's any advice they got for him. So he's got a slew of guys he can go to for advice, and I expect them to be better going forward because this Texas team is really good. Like you brought up, their defense, I think, is championship-level defense. This defense was humming all night long, kind of containing Jeremiah Smith. You can't get both of those. You can't contain Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. They said, hey, we'll have to let Carnell Tate do what he's going to do, but we're going to keep Jeremiah Smith, the home run hitter, away from the ball most of the time, and that's what they were able to do as they went out there. Like I said, Texas, I think, will rebound this upcoming weekend as they move forward in the season, and Ohio State is Julian Sain can not turn the ball over like he's been doing. One of the main things they talked about in the offseason when talking about Julian Sain was ball control, making good decisions with the football. We watched it once again this past weekend.
Yeah, like Cam Newton say, game manager.
Yeah,
manager.
Exactly.
And
that's what Ohio State needs.
Yeah.
Game manager.
Go out and do enough.
Yeah.
Go out and do enough. Just don't turn the ball over, because some of that type of stuff that it'll lose a game for you. But if you go out and you game manage and you just take what they give you and hand the ball off and then, make a play here and there, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So he did a good job.
I think Julian Sain is going to be in good shape moving forward. A game that was an upset this weekend. Florida State Seminoles get a win over the Alabama Crimson Tide, the 8th-ranked team in the nation. They get a win 31-17 in this game. Tommy Castellanos, a guy that I loved watching play at Boston College last year, came into this game and was a game changer. Didn't have crazy stats. 152 yards, didn't throw any touchdowns in that game, but he rushed for a touchdown and rushed for 78 yards in that game. The offense just looked like they was moving, and it was because of Tommy Castellanos. And I think Florida State is actually going to be a lot better than what they were last year. Last year they won 2 games, so they'll be better than they were last year. But Mike Norvell is going to get this squad back in contention, I think, for competing for that ACC, along with Clemson, along with Miami, along with SMU and those teams. They can fall right in line with that. The question marks and the worries come up for me on the other side, and that is with Alabama. Ty Simpson eventually threw for 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, but a lot of that was trying to be in the comeback. The offense just looked disjointed to me. They didn't look on the same page. Same with the defense. Kalen DeBoer is going to have some questions to answer. Now, like I said, I don't think he's necessarily on the hot seat as of right now. But that seat gets very hot very quickly in a place like Alabama, especially coming off of you had one of the greatest college coaches of all time coaching you guys. And now Kalen DeBoer kind of has a slightly underwhelming season last year. You get a brand-new quarterback, new system this year with Ty Simpson, and you fall short to a Florida State team that's not extremely talented. They're going to be a good team, but you're playing in the SEC. You got to play LSU, Georgia, Florida. You got to play all these guys every single week. If Kalen DeBoer plays another game and his offense looks like it did this past weekend, there's going to be some trouble brewing down there in Alabama. What do you think about Florida State getting the win 31-17 over Bama?
You rarely ever get to see an Alabama team that's dominated in the trenches.
Yeah.
They were out physical as well.
Absolutely.
And Florida State looked like they were just on another gear, another level. But Castellanos, man.
Yeah, he looked like the real deal.
He's got to be a Heisman candidate if he continued to play like he played.
Yeah.
Because he controlled the game.
The entire game.
I mean, he ran the ball well. He threw the ball well. He made great decisions with the ball all night. On the Alabama team that has guys, NFL talent on the back end. And
absolutely.
And I just like the way he played. I like the way Florida State played all together. Their defense was physical. They was rushing up the end. I mean, they played ball. And we talking about Clemson in the ACC, but Clemson is going to have to contend with Florida State and SMU for this title.
Yeah.
These guys, I think they have a three-headed monster in there, and I think all three of those teams can probably end up in the top 20.
I'll throw Miami in there.
And I had to throw in.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even talked
yeah,
about
we ain't got to Miami. Yeah.
Miami is going to be right there, too.
Miami's going to be a tough out this year to win. The ACC I think, is going to be a lot more competitive this year.
No doubt.
The ACC has got some teams that can really go this year. Florida State being one of those. When you get them back competitive, Miami seems like it's coming back to being competitive. Clemson doing what they're doing, even though they lost this past week in the LSU. We'll talk about them in a second. Man, there's a lot of teams in the ACC that can make some noise, and I'm with you. If Castellanos can continue to play like that, Florida State, he's going to be in some Heisman conversations because he seems to make, even though he didn't throw for 400 yards or whatever, he made all of the right plays. Every time it came down to a decision making,
he can run the ball.
Yeah,
and see, with a guy like that, I don't care what kind of pass rushes you have, he can run out of it. That's what he did a lot of the time. This past weekend. That's the good thing about having an athletic quarterback. Like, if you don't have a non-athletic, he don't have a chance in the pocket. But when you have a guy that can scramble and can run and do things like that and got vision like that and got quick feet like that, and he's not fast, he's just quick. But when you got a guy that's quick like that, he don't have to take a sack.
No.
He can run out of a sack. But when you have a lame duck back there, Tom Brady type of guy back there that can't, you in trouble when you got rushers that can rush. So, man, this guy's gonna be in the Heisman conversation for me if he can continue to go out and play like he played this weekend.
This Alabama team, they've got an L already on the schedule. They still got to take on Georgia in Week 4. They get them early. They're gonna play Tennessee this year, South Carolina, LSU, and Oklahoma in back-to-back weeks. They got a 4-game stretch of those guys, so no slouch of a schedule whatsoever. Not like we expected when it's the SEC. Everybody got to come in there and play. It doesn't matter who you're playing for them, and they play Wisconsin in the non-conference as well. So I think they'll rebound this weekend against UM Monroe. But Alabama's got some questions to answer. We're going to have some more questions for Kalen DeBoer as we get further throughout this season for sure. Last one on college before I move on. Last two on college before I move on. LSU gets a win over Clemson this past weekend in what was a battle for Death Valley in this game. Wayne, you told us LSU was going to go here on the road and come out with the victory on the road in Death Valley, playing in South Carolina, Death Valley, though, this time. 17-10 was the final score in this game. LSU seemed to make the right plays. Like I said, the offense didn't play amazing, but, of course, they're playing a really, really tough Clemson defense as well, and they're playing on the road. They were able to run the ball with Caden Durham, 74 yards and a touchdown. Garrett Nussmeier also took care of the ball, didn't turn the ball over, threw for over 200 yards and a touchdown in this game as well. Cade Klubnik on the other side did not play very well. Clemson on the other side was not able to run the ball whatsoever, and that was really the main reason why LSU was able to come out with the victory in this game. What do you think gave LSU the advantage over Clemson to be able to come out with this victory?
Man, Clemson was expected to come out and pass the ball. But when you go out, like when I was talking about Colorado and I was talking about you go out and you address the needs that you need to be successful, if you knew that run defense wasn't your strength, you got to go out and make it a strength. Well, LSU, that's what they did.
Absolutely.
They went out in the port and they paid these guys to come in.
An entire secondary.
We're going to get A whole new secondary. We're going to get the best guys in the country. We're going to focus on those guys and get them in here. Mm-hmm. And that was the difference. They couldn't pass the ball. These guys was playing man-to-man.
Yeah.
And then they were able to rush the ball. So you already know that, like I said, an SEC team is going to be formidable in the middle. They're going to be able to rush. They're going to be able to rush. They're going to be physical. You're not going to be able to run the ball too much on them. So you're going to have a balanced attack. Well, Clemson was one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. All they could do was throw the ball, and then they couldn't throw it. So it's a game that LSU had to have. But I just knew that when LSU went out and got those guys, and I was kind of looking at something on the SEC channel, and it was about LSU, and I got to talking about the guys that they brought in, and I'm looking at them, and I'm going over their resumes, and I'm looking at what has this guy. Man, that's what done it for me. I'm like, you know, Clemson's supposed to have one of the top receiving corps in the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you got guys that can go out and play man-to-man that's in your face, then that's a difference, man. That's like saying, hey, man, I'm finna take your lunch all day. I'm in your face all day. And you either win those battles or you're gonna lose those battles. And I just think that LSU defensive-wise was gonna be able to shut down Clemson. Even with Clubber.
That's exactly what they did. Like you said, this is supposed to be one of the best receiving corps in the nation. Brian Westcor, T.J. Moore out there, Adam Randall. These are all top-rated guys. But as you said, when you address the need, and LSU probably did the best job of that, them and Tech, of going and directly addressing their needs in the offseason. LSU had the worst secondary in the entire SEC last year. This year, I think they're going to have the best secondary in the entire SEC, maybe in the country. When you add the 2 top corners out of the transfer portal, the 2 top safeties out of the transfer portal, and then you get the number 1 corner in the nation in DJ Pickett, who comes in a 6'5" corner that runs a 4.3, playing out there as a true freshman and locking down T.J. Moore and Brian Westcott. These are going to be first, second-round picks in the draft of next year. So, I mean, LSU is scary. Before last week when we were talking about them, I said LSU is my dark horse team to win the SEC. And they might not even be a dark horse anymore after that. We know they have pass catchers. They didn't even get the ball to all the different guys they have. They threw the ball touchdown to the 6'8" tight end. They got into Dez Green.
They did enough to win.
Yeah,
they did enough. They followed a game plan that was efficient enough to win against a team on the road. And you went to is that Death Valley? Is that what that is in Clemson? You go to Death Valley and pick up a win, which is like that venue is one of the
hardest to play.
Yeah, one of the hardest to play in, and then you go up and you pick up a victory there. Hey, and on the road, your first game out, that's big. That is so big. That is so big for LSU. And then with a team like Alabama that went down, you know, man, that's big for you because you finished the year last year in the top 15, but you didn't really have a good year because you weren't going to be able to win those tough games because you didn't have anybody on the back end that could cover.
Absolutely. I think back, first game I think about is the game they played against Alabama where Milroe threw for like 400 yards and rushed for. The secondary was getting killed the entire night. You rebound and put out a squad like this on the defensive side of the ball, and you get Harold Perkins back, who missed the whole year last year. This guy that was projected to be a top 10 pick in the draft and tore his ACL last year, first game of the year. You get him back to add into these other guys you've already added. Man, the sky's the limit for LSU. And if Brian Kelly can keep these guys focused and going, man, and this is not only turn around LSU, this could turn around Brian Kelly's career, even though I know he's towards the latter part of his career. But his big thing is he wasn't able to get the job done in Notre Dame. They played multiple times for a chip. Wasn't able to get it done. This LSU thing, he could turn it all around.
And he left Notre Dame to come into LSU because you know what you can get as far as talent.
Yes.
And like you said, hey, they went out and addressed those needs. You got a good quarterback that's probably going to be on that Heisman list too. Mm-hmm. But he was a manager, a game manager.
Yep.
Did enough, didn't turn the ball over. And, you know, when you have experience back there at that position, it always gives you a chance to win because you can depend on those guys to do whatever you want. They've been in your system for a couple of years, so you know what they can do. And he did enough to get a win in Death Valley.
Yeah, they definitely did enough, and I expect LSU to be formidable going forward this season. Last one here in college football, Notre Dame and Miami on Saturday Night Football is what we got a chance to watch there. The Hurricanes come out with a win in a tough battle, 27-24. This might have been the best game of the weekend, this entire weekend. Both of these teams look pretty good, I have to say, moving forward. Miami, definitely their offensive line did what we thought their offensive line was going to do, one of the better ones in the country. They were able to rush for 127 yards in this game. Carson Beck looked like that guy that we saw at the beginning of the year last year with Georgia, before the end of the year when he started to struggle and then eventually got hurt. He looked like that guy again. He was taking control of the offense. He put the ball in places to give his guys chances to win. We all by now have seen the C.J. Daniels catch the one-handed catch in the end zone, a candidate for best catch of the year already, and it's just in week one. That Malachi Tony was able to get out there and get the ball as well. Carson Beck and the offense did a great job of just spreading the ball around, keeping tempo up, taking chances whenever they needed to take chances down the field as well, and that propelled them. On the other side, for Notre Dame, it really just came down to who had the ball last. One thing I was impressed with, the play of the young freshman C.J. Carr at the quarterback position. Mm-hmm. He made some throws and took some chances that I was like, okay, this guy's going to be able to play. As a freshman, when you're making those throws and having that pocket presence and taking the chances that he took, but smart chances. They weren't just putting the ball in harm's way every play, but taking chances down the field on those big third down plays when they need to play and making those conversions. I think he's going to be special for this Notre Dame team moving forward. And I think both of these teams will be fine. Notre Dame and Miami, I think, will be pretty competitive as they move forward in the year. But what do you think about Miami picking up that win at home against Notre Dame?
Man, Miami looked really good. They look like they back, man.
They did.
And this is another team that went out in the portal and addressed their needs.
Yeah.
You know, a guy that's trying to build a roster that fits his style of play.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. They were physical. They were rushing the passer. They had the quarterback, man. You got an experienced quarterback. Like I say, when you ever have an experienced quarterback, you always have a chance to win. Got good skill positions. Man, Miami's going to be there at the end. I mean, like we was talking about the ACC, everybody was talking about Clemson being the head of the class, man. But Florida State looked good, and Miami looked very good. And right now, man, and they played against a good opponent. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame is one of the top teams in the nation.
For sure.
And if those guys were playing hard. And the only mistake that I could see that Notre Dame quarterback made was the grounding play at the end of the game. But he played phenomenal.
Yeah, he did.
And he gave them a chance to win, and that's all you can ask for is somebody to give you a chance to win at the end of the game. And especially for a true freshman, a big game like that at Hard Rock Cafe in Miami where you know it's rocking and man, that was big, and that was a good game. And I think Miami is back.
Yeah, and Miami once again this year is not going to play Clemson in the regular season, so that means those two would meet in the championship game if they both made it that far. But I think the ACC comes through Miami this year. Last year, it kind of went through Clemson in what was kind of a down year for the ACC. I think the ACC is going to be a lot better this year as a conference, and I think it's all going to go through Miami.
I'm saying Florida State.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah, they right in there too.
And SMU in there too, right?
Yeah, SMU and ACC as well.
I'm thinking Florida State with that quarterback and what they showed the other night. I think they're gonna be tough to beat. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And last year, like I said, it seemed like a down year for the ACC. I don't see that same down year happen, at least at the top end. It's going to be very competitive because I expect SMU to still put out a really good product. Clemson is going to still put out a good product. You think about this. All those teams played top-tier teams.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Florida State, Alabama. Mm-hmm. You had
Clemson,
Miami.
LSU.
Yeah. These were top-tier teams. These top-tier games. So that experience is invaluable, man, as the season goes on.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really tough. As you know, I hate that there's so many teams in the ACC or in a lot of these conferences now that everybody doesn't get to play each other every single year, and some teams got to meet in the championship game. But man, Florida State, as you said, they put out a good product, and they're ranked 14. They moved all the way from being unranked all the way up to 14 now, coming into this year as well. And you also got SMU in there as well. You still got this Miami team. They're going to be tough, man. The ACC is going to be tough. Miami, like I said, I think the entire ACC is going to go through Miami. Folks, college football's got another great weekend coming up this weekend. Baylor, SMU will be this weekend again. Michigan, Oklahoma will be the Saturday night game as well. And I'll also be checking in on Oklahoma State and Oregon, who played this weekend coming up as well. Folks, we're running out of time here today on Centex Primetime. As we get towards the end of the show, got a couple quick takes here to go through. One of them is about the game that we just spoke about. I'm going to play this clip out and let you guys hear. One of the podcasts that cover Notre Dame said some pretty questionable things going forward right before the game. So I'll play a quick clip of that, of what these guys had to say on there.
That Miami is a bunch of unintelligent thugs that just play instinctually and not wisely. And the best thing about Miami, for their purposes, is that they're a bunch of unintelligent thugs who just play instinctively. So it's the best and the worst thing about Miami. The biggest advantage that Notre Dame has.
So that those comments caught me off guard as well. What is it called? What Though the Pods, which was previously known as the Notre Dame Freaking Podcast, is what they called it. That was a couple of their hosts referring to Miami as a bunch of unintelligent thugs.
Unintelligent is what
it's a lot to unpack just within that comment. Obviously, you have the history of the Catholics versus convicts thing from back in the day with these two teams playing against each other. I guess I kind of get what he was trying to say. It was an absolutely horrible way to say it.
Get him
and
out.
those guys have to be addressed. I think they've taken down that whole episode and a lot of that stuff off of their channels and all that. You can't erase that. We all seen it. The clips are already out there. And calling a bunch of, for whatever it is, these are a bunch of young black kids that are getting talked about by older white men, and they're being referred to as unintelligent thugs, and that is an issue. At any level, no matter what you're talking about, whatever point you were trying to make, it was a terrible point of trying to make it. Doubling down, too. You said it twice, calling them unintelligent thugs, I think was absolutely wild. Wayne, what do you think about these guys for Notre Dame?
Once it's recorded, once this video, it's there.
Forever.
And to be disrespected like that, the unintelligent, you can call me a thug all you want. I'm a thug. I want to be a thug on the field. That's what I am. But when you start talking about my intelligence and you start calling me unintelligent, then you went too far.
Yeah, way
you went too far. Because your team got beat.
Yeah, and they said that before the game, I believe. Before the game is what they were previewing the game, and that's what they called them.
Well, your team still got beat by
got beat.
a bunch of intelligent thugs. But you can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that about nobody. You just can't do that.
No.
You can't do that. And they have to be reprimanded some kind of way. But you start talking about players' intelligence, especially when they're the African American, because that's all that was out there.
Yeah, that's all that was out there.
So you might well say you unintelligent black man.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I got it.
Exactly. That's exactly the way I took it as well.
You can call me thug all you want to. I want to be a thug. That's what you
on the
want
field.
to be. Yeah. And but the unintelligent, you cannot do that, man. And they got to be reprimanded some kind of way. But that's kind of what they all think sometimes. I don't know. And I'm not gonna say they all, but But
it means a lot coming from a school like Notre Dame, who people already think that way of the people that support Notre Dame. They think a certain type of way, and you back down and say that.
When you have an African American coach,
you
have African American players, and how do they take that?
Come on,
I know that you're on our side. As if I'm a player that plays for Notre Dame, I know you're on our side, but I mean, you're talking about my brother.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? You're talking about kids that I played against and people that I respect, that we doing the same thing out here trying to play between these white lines.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot call me unintelligent, and that hurts, and they have to be reprimanded for sure.
Yeah, that's something that definitely has to be addressed, and I'm sure it's already being addressed within them. But that was crazy for y'all to say, and like you said, y'all still got beat by those unintelligent thugs. And the point he was trying to make is that these are guys, which was already a bad point. These are guys that aren't a bunch of smart players. They just go off of instinct and kind of fly around.
No.
And that's all a
No.
prejudice remark as well to think
because it's a game plan
Yeah.
already put in.
Exactly.
And you have to go out and you have to follow the game plan. They just not running down the field and they say, hey, I'm open.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a game plan that's involved. It's routes involved. These guys go out and been doing it all from spring practice and going over a scheme. And just because they're executing those schemes on defense and offense, and they beat your team. So, no, it's not just off of instincts.
No.
It's because they have a game plan and they followed their game plan to perfection, and they came out on top and they beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, after seeing that, I was already rooting for Miami. I don't think I've ever rooted for Notre Dame before.
I've never rooted for Notre Dame.
I think I've never rooted for
Notre Dame.
But definitely I was rooting for them after I seen that foolishness. I mean, that was crazy for y'all to even say that.
Yeah.
Knowing that this is on TV and on camera and stuff,
Yeah,
and that you can't delete what the internet puts out there. So that was crazy. But shout out to Miami for going out there and getting the win. Last one before we talk our last NFL topic here. TCU blows out North Carolina on national television. It's the big debut of Bill Belichick in North Carolina. And like I said before the season started, North Carolina doesn't have any guys. Regardless of what we think of Bill Belichick or however this is going to work in college, and I don't think he's going to be there for a long time, just my opinion. But North Carolina did not go out and get a lot of guys in the they got a lot of guys in the transfer portal. Didn't get any of the big names that we were sought after. The biggest name they got was probably Gio Lopez, their quarterback from South Alabama. He got hurt within that game as well. But from top to bottom, start to finish, man, TCU dominated these dudes. What do you think about Bills after what was an interesting offseason with all the noise between, his girlfriend making demands and all this, and then you go out on national television and get blown out like that? What do you think about Belichick's debut in North Carolina?
I think it was subpar. Subpar because you brought in over, I think they said over
70 new guys.
70 new guys. And this is what you got out of the 70 new guys that you brought in? That you playing a home game and you going to get beat down by TCU? That was a beating.
Oh, yeah.
That was a beating. I mean, like, on every level.
Every level.
Every level. I mean, in every phase. So, if that's the best you can do when you're going out, and then you got a NFL GM in Lombardi, and then you got an NFL coach that's won 6 Super Bowls, and you put these guys together, and that's the best you can come up with, I know they're going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, that's not a good product to put on the field. I expected more, and that's all I can tell you. I expected more watching the game, especially for that to be the only game on television yesterday.
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Only game on TV.
Yeah. I mean, that's your Labor Day. That's your, kickoff weekend, which we had a lot of good football.
A lot.
But that was horrible. That wasn't a good game.
Definitely. I mean, it don't get any worse than that as a debut. You're not going to get any worse than that. You got beat at every level. Then they tried to make it seem like they were going to come back, and we know Bill Belichick's a great halftime adjustment guy, and then the first play out of halftime is a 75-yard touchdown run. I said, oh, man. That's when I turned the game on. I was like, man, I ain't finna waste my Monday night like this. And keep watching that. But yeah, Bill Belichick, lots going on in North Carolina.
And I know Sonny Dykes. I mean, I played for his dad, and he's one of the guys that I grew up when I was.
Yeah.
And I know how he is. He has the same mentality that his dad had. And I could just hear him talking and telling his kids in pregame, they talking about Bill Belichick and what they can do and this, that, and other. Ain't nobody said anything about TCU. Nobody said anything.
Nobody said one thing about him.
So let's go out here and make a statement.
Yeah.
Let's make them talk about TCU. So, congratulations to Sonny and North Carolina. You got to do better than that.
Yeah, North Carolina's got to do better. And on the TCU side, like you said, Sonny Dykes, really good coach. Their new offensive coordinator, Kendall Browse, he's not going to let his foot off the gas. Once they find something that works, he's going to be like his dad was. Once they find something that works, we're going to stick with that. Yeah. And then Josh Hoover, the quarterback from TCU, who was an underrated guy last year, really played a good season last year of football, coming in this season, man, he's making throws. That first touchdown into the corner, he's playing with confidence. Oh, yeah. That's the biggest thing with him. He's playing with confidence, and that TCU offense will be tough to stop. I got a chance to actually go and watch than practice about a month ago. One of my friend's dad is a coach over there. Coach Norwood is a coach now at TCU. Got a chance to go watch the practice, man. This is going to be a confident offense. They got playmakers at the receiver position. As we can see, they got running backs. They went and got the kid out of UTSA that was killing everybody the last couple of years. And Barnes, he goes for 113 yards and a TD. This offense is going to be good for TCU.
No doubt.
And they're another team that's going to be competing in that Big 12 that we talk about a lot. So I'm excited to watch that TCU team. Last one before we get out of here, folks. NFL Week 1 is starting this week. We finally get it. Starts on Thursday as the Dallas Cowboys will be headed to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia to take on the defending Super Bowl champs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia, this shows, I guess, how dominant Philly's been or maybe what they think about the Cowboys. But right now, Philly is a 7.5-point favorite going into this game on Thursday night. Obviously, the Micah Parsons trade took a lot of headlines away from the fact that these guys are actually about to start the season on opening night of the season. They get Kenny Clark back. We'll see. Does that help with the run? You know, Jerry Jones comes out and says, we got to stop the run. That's why we did it. You know, Jerry, we don't want you making football decisions about how to stop the run. We should just be making the other decisions. But Michael Parsons no longer there. Cowboys heading into Philly to start this game off. Wayne, what's going to happen on Thursday night? Tell us how this was going to go.
It's going to be a good game, man. I mean, Philadelphia has some glaring weaknesses, and I think one of them is their secondary. I think by Dallas adding Pickens, they'll be able to score.
Yeah.
But I just think the determining factor is going to be that Philly's offensive line that can block.
Yeah, man.
And I know Dallas has made a conscious decision to try to buck up. They brought in Clark for him for Parsons, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Philadelphia is going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. And if Philadelphia gets out front, it's going to be over. That's all they're going to do is run the ball. But I think Dallas is going to play. I think Dallas offensively can be just as good. I don't know what they have at running back.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see the main guys that's going to play running back doing
preseason. Yeah.
Doing the preseason. We didn't see Dax. We didn't see Pickens. We didn't see CD Lamb. And to me, sometimes that's a mistake when you go out and you do it the first game. So we'll see if they hitting on all cylinders. I think it'll take a couple of weeks before you start hitting on all cylinders. But I think Dallas will be in there. If they can get those things, if they can throw the ball, because they got two number ones, I would say. And they got a good tight end. It'll depend on I don't know if they'll be able to run the ball because Philadelphia ain't letting none of that go.
No.
And I don't know if they'll be able to block Philadelphia as far as whatever, but I know that if Dak gets enough time, he has two capable pass catchers that can catch the ball and can get open. So we'll see what happens, but I'm still going with Philly.
Yeah, I'm picking Philly in this game, but I think it honestly will be closer than what a lot of people think. A lot of people think Philly's just going to blow Dallas out, especially without Michael Parsons being out there. I don't feel that way because of the exact points you just pointed out. Philly's secondary, yes, they had a good year last year, but they still had Darius Slay in that room to cover up some mistakes of the young guys. Now with the two young rookies going to get to start outside receiver. When they dominated against Kansas City in that Super Bowl, a lot of that was one, of course, the pass rush. But then two, Kansas City didn't have any receivers that could threaten Philly's secondary in a one-on-one scenario. Well, Dallas has two of those guys. As good as Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean played, they cannot guard CeeDee Lamb one-on-one, and I don't think they can guard George Pickens one-on-one. So if they can find those matchups and scenarios, I think Dallas can have some success. Like you said, didn't get to see their running backs in the preseason. So whether it's Javonte Williams or whether it's Phil Maffa, who they drafted, or whether it's Jaden Blue, who they drafted, whichever one of these guys open up and emerge as a top guy, they're going to have to try to at least run the ball to create some balance against Philly. But Philly's defensive line is so good. And then NFL Top 100 just finished yesterday. Saquon Barkley was voted the number one player in the NFL by all the peers. They got that guy. So that's the main reason why I'm picking Philadelphia. You're not going to be able to stop. If that offensive line is humming like it was last year, which I expected to do, they still got Lane Johnson out there. He didn't even give a sack up last year and played the entire 19-game season, which is incredible. They still got Saquon running behind those guys. I got the Eagles, man.
I got the Eagles.
It's not much you'll be able to do with that. We've been talking about stopping the run all show. it's going to show up right here again if Dallas can't go out there and try to at least attempt to stop the run.
And they're the defending champions.
Yeah,
man. And you
champs.
going in their home to try to beat them. So it's going to be hard for Dallas. I just don't think they'll be able to stop Philadelphia offensively. And they got the same guys that's coming back from last year. And when you got all 11 guys that are returning on your offense, it's just a rhythm.
Yeah.
And it's just something about that it's hard to stop. And they were hitting on all cylinders last year, but I think they're going to be even more potent this year because you can do so many more things and you can add so many more things to the things that you already were doing last year. So with that being said, I think Philadelphia offensively going to be hard to stop, and I think they're going to be hard to run on. I think if you beat Philadelphia, it's because you're going to beat them by throwing the ball. Because they got on the back end, they don't have Sauce Gardner anymore, and they got some new guys coming in that secondary. And if you can take a chance on it and you can beat them in that area, you may have a chance. But other than that, I don't see them boys getting beat.
Running the ball is not going to be that big of an option with Big Jordan Davis down there and all those guys that they have in there. Jalen Carter as well on their defensive line. That's going to be a tough go, but they can take advantage in that secondary. They can make the game close. That game is on Thursday, folks. Super excited about that one here today. We're out of time on Centex Primetime. We got a great slate of football this weekend. Of course, you'll be able to catch a lot of the high school right here on Friday Night Flex as we'll break down a lot more of these games. And I'll be doing that as we get further and further throughout the week as well on the high school side. But on television on Thursday, we got Cowboys-Eagles. Friday, we got Kansas City and your Chargers, Wayne, as well. Man. On Saturday night, we got Michigan versus Oklahoma. Sunday night, we got the Ravens and the Bills, and on Monday night, we got the Bears and the Vikings.
Man, football is back.
Football is back in full effect, people. This is the best time of the year for me, for guys that are football fans like myself. So I can't wait. But we're out of time here today on Centex Primetime. Want to thank you guys for making sure you tune in with us. Make sure you guys tune in for MCC Volleyball is tomorrow. Their debut, as I mentioned earlier, is tomorrow. You'll be able to catch all the action right here on Centex Sports Network, either on the website, CentexSportsNetwork.com, or here on our YouTube channel, Centex Sports TV. They start their season off tomorrow against Weatherford in conference play. So make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow. We'll be back here after we got volleyball tomorrow, but Thursday we'll be back here to preview you guys for the weekend, preview some more of this Cowboys and Eagles game, and some more of the great football games we got coming up again this weekend. Like Wayne said, football is back in full effect. So we will see you guys then. Want to thank Wayne for jumping on here with us. We'll be back here on Thursday. We will see you guys then. Everybody have a great evening.